Okay, well, let's loosen up this crowd. Let's get started. You know, we made it. 1, 2, 3. Yay! Well, that was pretty good, but we could do that again. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Yay! One more time. Yay! I want to welcome everyone. We have from Silver Creek, our North County habitat, some of the board members and representatives. Just wave your hand to give a yell if you're here from Silver Creek. They had a dedication last week of their family that moved in there. Habitat board members, you're here, put up your hands. Thank you for all your ongoing work all year long. If you're part of Crystal and Tim's family, extended family, friends, neighborhood, let's hear it. Yay! If you're part of St. Mark's and the church that's here with Father Gordon today. Anybody who volunteered on the house. I want to give a special thanks to David and Marty Carnahan, who were some 20 years ago founders of Chautauqua Area Habitat for Humanity. I think David and Marty are here somewhere. Thank you. A couple announcements. We're going to have a tour of the house when we're done here and have refreshments. You're welcome to walk through. Either take your shoes off or put on the booties that we have for you to slip over your shoes, whichever is comfortable. If at any time you volunteered on the house, we ask you to sign in on the board up here. And now, it's not time to work anymore. It's time to celebrate. This is an important time to do. And, you know, they expected me to say something about Habitat and to tell you that the mission of Habitat for Humanity is to eliminate poverty housing everywhere. And that we do that by forming a partnership with God's people in need and with volunteers in the local communities. And we build a simple, safe, decent, affordable house. And then the homeowners pay for that house at a zero-interest mortgage for everything that goes into that house, but not the volunteer labor. And then we at Habitat take 10% of the contributions that we get and we tie them back to other habitats in the world, and we have a sister relationship in Nicaragua with Greenfields and a habitat there. And for every dollar we send them, they get $10 of construction out of that. And Habitat is now in 100 countries around the world, in every state, in almost every county in the United States. And 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every 15 minutes, there's a habitat dedication somewhere in the world. So we are part of something very special that's going on. But actually, that's not what I wanted to talk to you about. What I wanted to tell you was what I'm feeling. Because the celebration today is really not all about the house. It's not all about the mission. It's about this miracle that's happened in Mayville and in Central County. Because none of this would have happened without this volunteer organization. We're not paid, we're not professional, we're volunteers. We sometimes get in the way. It takes a lot of spirit, and you've all turned out to transform this house through your energy and your heart and your goodwill and your volunteering into this amazing, beautiful structure that we have here. Crystal and Tim, you have given your commitment and your dedication and your courage. You didn't really know what you were getting in for. You had sweat equity hours to do, you had courses to take, you had people running all around your house telling you what was going to be happening, and you weren't so sure 4 weeks ago if it was even going to get done. And you just stayed there, and you were a joy. You made, through your effort, you made this special time a sacred time. Now, in my religious life, sacred is not, as a Quaker, it's not a particular ritual. It's whenever the best in human beings come together to do the right thing, to do good, to care for one another, And in that moment, when they're sharing that work, that becomes a sacred moment. Well, Tim and Crystal, you have given us a sacred time here. And to all the volunteers, you have made this a sacred place, and it will always be that. I didn't know half of you. We couldn't be a more different group. Let's not start talking politics. We'll be in big trouble around here. But we know something. We know that we built a community that's bonded in care and love. I could go up to any of you and I could say to you, why did you come to Habitat? And it's not an important question to you. You really wouldn't answer it. And if I pressed you, you might say, well, it's the right thing to do, or it just felt like something I wanted to do, or it was good.
Payback.
There's none of you that want any recognition. We're going to recognize some of you today, but really what we're doing is we're recognizing the body of this community that has transformed ourselves, this house, and this family. And so I just want to say thank all of you, and I want you to take this away from you today, that when you see each other in the store or on the road or you drive by this house, stay in touch with this celebration today. Let the sacredness of it sink into your heart, and know that we can do anything. That in this world in which we talk about fear, we at Habitat know hope, and we know joy in our work. I can't tell you what it's like to be working next to someone and I'm putting something in backwards and they're stepping in the bucket of paint, and all we're doing is laughing and helping each other. There's good joy in the world, and there's hope in the world, and thank you. And now I'd like to ask Father Gordon if he would continue along with this, with his words. This is the church that St. Mark's that Tim and Crystal visit, and Father Gordon has been with us for 10 years trying to get Habitat to Mayville. We couldn't find a site, we couldn't find a location, and we started about 16 months ago, I believe, at our first community meeting in your church, and you're a very special friend of this, and thank you for being here today.
After a sermon that I gave, and probably you all heard earlier today, maybe we won't have to have such an inspiration, and following Ted is always humbling, because that inspiration is there. What I'd like to do is read from Psalm 121 to begin. I lift up my eyes to the hills, from where is my help to come? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. He will not let your foot be moved, and he who watches over you will not fall asleep. The Lord himself watches over you. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. The Lord shall preserve you from all evil. It is he who shall keep you safe. The Lord shall watch over your going out and your coming in, from this time forth forevermore. Dearest God, you give us strength to build and to plant, to renew and to raise up, and a spirit of love and fellowship with the people you have gathered. You watch over our going out and our coming in. Look with favor on the work we have completed as your community. Thank you for guiding our hands and our hearts and our wills and our muscles to see this crowning day. And send your special blessing, we pray, on the Olson family, who will cross the threshold of their new home and continue the journey of love and commitment for which your grace has prepared them. Thank you for all the blessings you have bestowed on us and on all of our families in this place, on this good earth. We praise you, we thank you, we give you glory, and we make this prayer in the name of him who taught us to pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Sorry, Mrs. Weidman tells me I have to be loud. When have you not been? I have had the the actual joy and pleasure of being the volunteer coordinator for this project. And what that means, what that means is that I've gotten to become friends with everybody in this auspicious group that's got an orange shirt on. And Ted already commented about the frivolity and the joy that we experience working hand in hand together, and it's been a tremendous experience. So I thank you all for that that right to be able to do that. We've had a number of people who have dedicated their time to the 4,280 volunteer hours that it took to build this home.
Whoa!
And I want to recognize those volunteers who contributed 100 hours or more. But before I do that, I want to recognize a very special couple, a couple that's become very special to us, who a year ago last January came to Mayville and shared the Habitat dream with us. And at that meeting, there were several of us who raised their hands and said, yeah, we want to be involved. Little did we know how involved we ended up becoming and how many hours we ended up working on this project. But it was a labor of love, and this house is filled with joy and laughter and love. The Olson family will certainly have a very joyous and bountiful future with all the love that is in this home. But none of this would have happened had Ted and Deb First not shared the dream with us. And for that reason, Ted and Deb, we'd like to dedicate this house in your honor for allowing us to be part of your Habitat dream. So if you'll step forward here, and we just have some people have referred to this photograph as the smiley face, so I can't imagine that it would be any more appropriate
Thank you.
than for you folks. Thank you. If you were a volunteer and I missed you and you didn't get a t-shirt, please see me after the program, and if we don't have your size, we'll order one. But we appreciate all the work that you've done, and a measly little t-shirt isn't much of a thank you, but we know that you did this not for the recognition, but because of the size of your heart. Those folks who put in hours and hours, one guy stands out amongst the rest of us, and all of us who worked here know this guy. He worked a total of 314 hours,
Whoa.
and that doesn't include the times he was here mowing the grass, the times he forgot to sign in. I think we're going to start calling him Contractor Bob if we talk to Rick. So Bob, please step forward for some recognition. And you didn't think they made summer caps. Stay up here, will you, and join these other folks? I'm going to read off the names of these folks, and these are the folks that put in more than 100 hours, and I'd like them to come forward and just receive another small token of our appreciation. Conrad Howard.